the scriptures of the Holy Bible come from what some people call the Egyptian Bible.
The scriptures of the Holy Bible are not copied from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, nor are they copied from any other ancient people group. The first thing we'll notice is that there was not one single source quoted in her entire video. There was a bunch of conjecture and saying this sounds like this, so it must be this. Let's do a deeper dive, and I'm going to actually show you some sources to prove that what she said was incorrect. Here is some information about Kemeticism taken directly from a Kemetic website so that no one thinks that I'm misrepresenting the source. Kemet is the name that the native African people of the country now known as Egypt called themselves in their survival writings. As you can see, Ma'at is the ancient Egyptian goddess of truth, justice, harmony, and balance. It also refers to the ancient Egyptian concepts of truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. When a person dies, they're taken to Duat, or their underworld, by Anubis. In this picture here, we see the scale of Ma'at, where the person's soul or heart is on one side of the scale, and on the other side is Ma'at's feather of truth. Now, before a person would be granted access to the field of reeds, like their version of heaven, they would recite 42 affirmative declarations. Notice these are not commandments. They are affirmations of how that person lived, and they are weighed on the scales of justice to see how well they lived in accordance with those. Demonstrating that they had a similar standard of morality does not demonstrate evidence of a linkage of the Bible actually copying the 10 Commandments from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Furthermore, if you study the Bible, we know that there are not actually 10 commandments, but there were actually 613 commandments in the Old Testament. Just because the Book of the Dead or the 42 laws of Ma'at existed prior to God giving the Israelites the 10 commandments does not mean that the two are linked together. This is what educators call post hoc ergo propter hoc. It is a logical fallacy that assumes that one thing caused another simply because the first thing preceded the other. Family, that's not proof. It's not even close to it. The Bible does have many connections to Egypt, but it's not a good one. Moses did come from Egypt, but did you know that the 10 plagues that God rained down upon the Egyptians was actually a polemic against 10 different Egyptian gods? Let's check it out. The first plague was when water was turned into blood, which was a front against Hapi, the Egyptian god of the Nile, and then the frogs was a front against Heket, the Egyptian goddess of fertility, water, and renewal, who had the head of a frog. Next was the lice and flies, which went to the Geb, the Egyptian god of the earth, as well as Khepri, the Egyptian god of creation, movement of the sun, and rebirth. Next was the death of cattle and livestock, and the ashes, which turned into boils and sores, which went to these two gods here. Then we have hail coming down from the sky, as well as locusts coming down from the sky, which went to Nut and Seth. Next was complete darkness, as well as the death of the firstborn, which went against Ra, the sun god, and Pharaoh himself, who thought he was a god. Yahweh proved he's more powerful than the gods of Egypt, so no, he didn't copy their laws.